welcome to the Rubber Room. It is Monday night. I am Chris Colley, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Rochester Hills, Michigan, and Monday means it's time for our Rubber Room free class on a more fun Monday. So let me just pop on, make sure I'm in the right spot, and I am. So this is the stamp set we're going to be using tonight, and this is actually, the cards we'll be making are from my Creativity Club. If you don't know about the Creativity Club, it meets once a month. It's a subscription club. So your credit card is charged on the 7th day of each month, either $30 if you do a porch pickup or a door drop. If it needs to be mailed to you, it is $38. You will get a half a pack of Designer Series paper, some ribbon, and a pack of accessories. And this happens each month. You can add the stamp set on if you'd like, if you don't have it. And then we meet via Zoom for an hour each month to put our cards together. And they also come with a tutorial. So you get a written tutorial of all the products you need and the directions, so that if you can't join us, you can always use your tutorial to figure out the cards. So this month we did the Here Together stamp set. It has 9 stamps in it, and it's kind of one of those, what I call a feel-good stamp set, because it's about bringing the world together and supporting one another, letting each other know that we care. It comes with a coordinating set of dies. So you can purchase just the stamp set, you can purchase just the dies, or you can purchase the bundle all together. Okay, this will be retiring, so it's not going to be in our new catalog. And along with this stamp set, when it came out, we got these great blends, and the blends are going to be in the new catalog also. They are skin tone, flesh tone blends, and there are 10 of them. And they have different bases, an olive base, a yellow base, kind of, and they kind of coordinate like that. And where our other blends have a light and a dark, these are numbered 100, 900, 800. So they kind of go along in that direction, as opposed to a light and a dark of the same color. So you get all 10 of these. And let's go ahead and get started. This month they got a, instead of a half a pack, they got a whole pack. When you're in the club for 6 months, you get a little bonus, and their bonus this month was an entire pack of Designer Series paper instead of just half a pack. And this is the altogether 6x6 Designer Series paper. So that was 48 pieces of 6x6 paper. You do have to cut your own Designer Series paper, and that allows you to kind of personalize your cards. You can, of course, cut the same pieces I did, or you can cut your own. It doesn't matter. And you get card kits to make 2 each of 4 cards. So we're going to start off with this one. And this one uses a flower from the Bow Punch, and then the ribbon and twine, and the hexagon gems. So this month they got, in addition to the half a pack of Designer Series paper, they got a pack of the Playful Pets trim combo ribbon, and a package of the adhesive backed hexagons. So those are the materials that we're working with. And let me grab my bone folder here. This is going to be our first card, and we used the thick white, basic white card stock, and it is 8.5 by 5.5. We scored our 8.5 inch side at 4 1/4. I'm just going to burnish that score line, and that is going to be our card base. Okay, and then we have a piece of Designer Series paper, and this piece of paper is 5 1/4 by 1.5 inches. And I'm just going to put some Stampin' Seal on there. And you can use either side of the paper that you want. I think I'll use this one. Let's see how temperamental our adhesive is going to be tonight. I have just been having a time with my Stampin' Seal. I'm not sure why. Sometimes it gets too humid and that has something to do with it, but this one just is not coming out at all. I'm not sure. Okay, that's got enough of my time. I'll try my regular Stampin' Seal. There we go. And you can use any kind of adhesive you want. You might be a green glue girl. You might be two-sided tape, whatever it is that does it for you. Okay, and then we have a piece of basic black cardstock, and this is 4.5 by 3.5 inches. And we're going to take a piece of designer series paper that is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, and we're going to put that on top of it. I can see some of you guys signing in here, so I'm glad I'm in the right spot. Oh, it looks like I cut my paper the exact same size as my black, so I'm just going to bring this in and trim it up. So your designer series paper is going to be 3 inches instead of 3 1/4, and 4 inches. So your designer series paper is going to be 3 by 4. Okay. And I'm going to put that right on top of my piece of basic black cardstock. Okay. Wow. There. And then I have used some Coastal Cabana cardstock and used the die cuts that say "Here for You." So I'm going to add that right on top of my designer series paper that's on the black cardstock. I'm going to use a little bit of green glue for that. This is one of those times where you could have put the sticky paper on the back of it if you wanted to. Oh, adhesives are going to be my thing tonight, I can tell. I have an empty thing of green glue here. So let's try this green glue. And see if, oh, this one is much nicer. And I'm just going to kind of put my green glue where those wider pieces are. And then on the ends of my letters, so those don't kind of get stuck popping up. So the very top and bottom of my letters. And I'm going to let that get tacky for a minute, so I'm just going to push it out of the way. And then I have this 5.5 by 3 3/4 inch piece of paper, and that's going to go on the inside of our card. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the top and bottom of that one. And I'll put it right here. And it's going to go right to the top of my paper, top to bottom. So I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch over on this side. So when you open it up, it'll look like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this and put it right on here. I love that contrast of the Cabana, Coastal Cabana, and the black and white. I love black and white. It's so traditional. Black and white with a pop of red to it is really pretty. And in this case, we did a little pop of Melon Mambo with it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put a little drop of Tombow Anywhere glue on that. And I'm going to put it right in here. And then I'm going to take some of the twine. I'm going to tie just a little tiny bow. This twine is really kind of stiff, so I'm just going to take my paper snips and put my thumb on the top of the ribbon and just give it a little pull through, and that's going to soften it up so it's much easier to tie a bow with. I do bunny ears, so I have 2 bunny ears, one over the top of the other and through the hole. I'm just going to pull them tight, and then it's just a matter of I put my index finger and my thumb on top of my knot and pull that through. And I want a really tiny one because it's going to go on that flower. There we go. That is a really tiny one. And then I'm just going to take a glue dot and I'm going to put a glue dot right behind the knot in my bow. And then my bow is going to go on. Just like that. And then I'm going to take some more twine and I'm going to wrap it around twice. I'm going to wrap it around twice like that. I'm going to leave it on the spool. So after I'm done making my bow, I can cut it off the spool and I won't be wasting a lot of ribbon that way. So I'm just going to tie it in a knot, maybe over to my left a little bit because I do have that bow on my flower on the right. So I'm going to tie this a little bit over to my left. And I think I still want it over a little bit more, so I'm just going to move it. There we go. And again, I'm going to do my bunny ears. One over the other and up through my loop. Just going to pull them tight. And make them so they're kind of a good size for my card. We want them to be kind of dimensional there. All right. And then I'm going to pop the whole thing up with some dimensionals and put it on my card base. And I'm going to use about 6 or 7 of them. I definitely want one in each corner. And then one on each side. I'm going to drop one in the middle just because I don't want it to sag down in the middle. I'm going to drop 2 in the middle. There we go. So I used about 8 dimensionals. And it's okay to use a lot of dimensionals because a lot of dimensionals come in your pack. Your pack's only $4 or $5. And it's one of the best values in our catalog. But the biggest reason is that we don't want it to sag in the middle. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in my card base. To give it one more check to make sure I'm going in the right direction. And I'm just going to put it on kind of, as my mother would say, kitty wampus, which means corner to corner. There we go. Okay, so I used on this one, my designer series paper is going in a different direction here. And I used a different pattern designer series paper here. So here is the one I did for club. And then here is the one. So you can see how easy it is to just switch up a few things and kind of make it more your own design. We're going to bring in these hexagons. And we're going to add a few of those. I'm going to add, they come in 3 sizes. So you have a large, a medium, and then a small. And I think I'm going to do some medium ones on here. Just kind of go up here by our bow. Down here and over in here. Okay. So how's that? Let me pop down for a second here before we move on to our second card. See who's joining us. Kay's here. Okay, I hope you guys are not getting snow in North Carolina. We got about 2 inches here today. So if you're here, leave me a little check-in comment below and let me know you're here and how you're liking the cards. And we'll move on. This is going to be our second card. It looks like that. And let's get our little kit out here. I have a heart way down in the bottom of my envelope there. Okay, so that's going to be this one. And again, I use the basic, or the thick, extra thick, basic white cardstock. It's 5.5 by 8.5. And I scored the 8.5 side at 4 1/4. And that's going to be our card base. Okay, and this card is going to go this way. And we're going to start with this piece on top of it. This piece of real red, and it is 5 1/4 by 4. I'm just going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on that, and then attach it right to our card base. And then I have this piece of designer series paper, and this is 5 by 3 3/4 inches. And then I have a coordinating piece of designer series paper, and this one is 5.5. I'm sorry, it is 5 by 1 7/8. This one is. Nope, it is not. It looks like it's 5 by 2. 5 by 1 1/2. So it's 5.5 by 1 1/2. This one is. I'm looking at too many pieces of paper with measurements on here. So it is 5.5 by 1 1/2. Okay. And it's going to go right on top of the other piece of designer series paper. And again, you can use any patterns of paper that you want. Let me see what I'm doing here. Okay. This one should. See, this is we cut our paper as we go when we're in class. So this should be 5.5 by 1. So let's go in and trim it. So measurements are going to be an issue for me. Just a little bit I had to cut off there though. 5.5 by 1. And we're going to put that on here, right on top of our designer series paper. And in the middle. Okay. And then we have a piece of basic black cardstock that was cut using the color and contour dies, and a piece of designer series paper that coordinates, and this piece is 3 1/4 by 1 7/8. So we're just going to layer those two pieces up on top of each other. And I'm going to put those on with dimensionals. So I'm going to put this piece on first. And again, this piece was 5 by 3 3/4. And we're just going to put it on just like that. And then this one, I'm going to see if I can find my dimensionals here. And I am going to put some dimensionals on the back of here. Okay. And I'm going to pop that up. And I'm going to sort of move it over towards this end because I'm going to put a little bow right there. So we're giving this card just a tiny bit of a redesign. I only have just a tiny bit of this red ribbon left. So we're going to make a bow with it. There actually might be enough for 2 bows, so I'm going to kind of tie it loosely towards the end. Let's see if we can eke 2 bows out of it. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to trim it up here. And we'll put this on with a little glue dot. I'm going to put it on right there. Okay, and then we're going to stamp our image. And actually, I'm going to add this piece so I don't forget it. This piece is 5.5 by 3/4. And I'm going to add that right on the inside of my card at the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing we did with the other one and just leave about 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch down there. And I have just a little teensy tiny bit that I'm going to cut off there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to stamp a sentiment on this little piece right here. And I am going to I don't know where my piece of white paper went. I'm going to stamp this image. Yep, this one here. And we're going to color it. Let me see if I can find my white paper. Gosh, it doesn't look like there's white cardstock in here. So here we go. We'll see if it will fit on here. Oh, yeah, well, perfect. Okay, so let's bring out our black Memento ink. If you don't have blends and you want to color this with some markers, you want to use Stays On ink. So we're using Memento ink because we're going to color with some alcohol blend markers. And let's see where our sentiment is. Our sentiment's going to say, we'll get through this together. So we're going to put that right on this piece of paper. And I'm going to go towards my right. Oh, I didn't want to, I wanted to go towards my other right. So I'm just going to flip it over and go towards this way. Because I want to give it a little cut. So I want to trim it a little bit there. Okay, so these are alcohol blend markers. So when you're using alcohol blend markers, you do want to use them with a water-based ink. And when you're using a water-based marker, you want to use it with an alcohol-based ink. So that's why if you're coloring with Stampin' Blends, you're going to use your Mementos ink. And I'm just going to quickly color this. You can pick out any 2 colors that you want. You could even use the same color if you wanted to. I'm going to use some different ones. And then you can give them some nice colored nails if you wanted to. Add a little sparkly nail polish or a bright red nail polish. Whatever you want to do. These markers are going to be in our new catalog, and although they are called skin tones, they're actually great for animals and trees, all kinds of different things. You don't have to just limit yourself to skin tones with them. Okay. And these are 2 different shades of a darker brown, so you can see what I mean. This one looks almost like a squirrel, if you will. So you can see what I mean about coloring trees with them or coloring animals. They're great for the deer that we like to do on our Christmas cards. I can't believe it's time for our new catalog, and pretty soon it'll be time for our mini catalog. I don't know where the time goes these days. Now you have a coordinating die to cut this out with. And I'll show that to you. I forgot to bring over my die cut machine, of course, because I'm kind of... So this die goes right directly over top of it and cuts it out. But rather than make you wait while I'm off retrieving items I should have had, I'm just going to chat with you while I give these a quick little fancy cut. I'm going to say I hope that you had a wonderful holiday weekend. We have some things coming up in the rubber room. Stampin' Up! Is doing an on-tour event, and our team signed up for this weekend. It's a virtual event, and so we all signed up for this weekend. I'm busy getting ready for that. We're going to do some make and takes and watch the event. I have some new pre-order items that came in that I will share with everybody. We did a card swap with our team, so we'll get to have, I think there's 11 of us swapping. So we'll get 11 cards made with things from our pre-order, which is going to be exciting. Demonstrators love those pre-orders. It's one of our favorite perks. And we do swaps with them, but we like to get a sneak peek and be able to start making some things to share with our customers and our downlines. And I have 2 rubber room events coming up. One of them is a retirement party, which is going to be on April 30th from 1 to 4. It's a Saturday. It is going to be a free event, and you can drop in anytime, but you do have to RSVP because we are going to be doing some make and takes, and I want to be sure I have enough make and takes for everybody. It's also a wonderful time to pick up your catalog, and I will be having my Bogo Sale then too. So if you're not familiar with my Bogo Sale, it's a buy one, get one free, and I take all of my retirement products and I sell them for the price they were in the catalog. And when you buy them, you earn credits towards a purchase in the new catalog. So you pay for the old retired stuff and you get to order new stuff for free. You do have to pay the shipping and handling and the tax on the new items that you order. So that's a great time also to pick up your new catalog, see what's inside of it. Lots of fun things, but the buy one, get one is exclusive to everybody that comes for that event. Okay, so there is our image, and I'm just going to trim my words while we're here. Okay, and I'm going to put my image down with a little bit of Stampin' Seal. When you are coloring with the blends, you want to make sure you have some scrap paper under you because they will bleed through the paper. Okay, so I'm going to put this up here, and I'm going to take this little tiny heart that was cut with the Sweetheart dies, which I believe are going to be retiring. I mean, I wouldn't swear to that, though. They might be staying. We have lots of heart size in our catalog, which I'm excited about because some of them are stitched and some of them are plain and some of them are big and some of them are little, and we need lots of hearts, right? Okay, so I'm going to put my words on with just a little bit of seal, and they're going to go right in here. I guess I'm going to pop my bow off. There we go. And I'm going to have to put these on dimensionals so that they can go up because I put my contour frame die up. So let's start this again. We're going to put this right at the edge like that. I'll put my bow down here. And I think I'm going to take one of these pink hexagons and my Real Red blends And I'm going to color it red. I love that about my blends. I can use them to color just about anything. I use them to color ribbon and rhinestones and now hexagons, right? Here we go. Okay. So here is this card. This is our second card. And here it is with the other designer series paper colored in a different colors, and I colored some of my designer series paper with the red hearts. So there we go with our second card. Let me pop down before we start card number 3. Adrienne, hi. It's good to see you here. I have 2 Adriennes here. Can you believe that? I'm so glad you're here, Adrienne. And Debbie, lots of gals from my club are here. I tried to do my club online last week and my internet was out. So I rescheduled it and my internet was still out. So I said, I am just going to do these on my live. So join me on my live. And some of them are here, so I'm really glad about that. So this is going to be our next one. It's going to be a fun rainbow one. Look at all those rainbow hearts that are popping out. This one, actually, they come packaged because they do 2 cards. So they come packaged with the stuff to make 2 cards inside one envelope. So that's why we have so many goodies here. We're just going to need one red, 1 yellow, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 purple, and 1 orange. Okay, all the rest of you guys are going to go back in the envelope. This is a very colorful card. And again, we're going to start with that card base. That is 8.5 by 5.5. We scored the 8.5 side at 4 1/4. Debbie, I bet you were glad to come home from Florida to this mess this morning, huh? Debbie spent some time this winter in Florida and just came back this past weekend in time for the snow today. So, okay, so I have a piece of 5.5 by 2 designer series paper. I'm going to put it up about 1/2 inch from the bottom of my card. I'm just kind of lining it up with my grid paper. Make sure I got it nice and even. And this one is going to say, every act of kindness changes the world. If you guys know me, you know I am all about kindness and Happy Mail and making someone's day. Just spreading a little bit of joy wherever you can. It is so hard to get along in this world these days, and that brings me such sadness. So I try to do a little happy whenever I possibly can. Okay, so we're going to take this piece of paper's 3.5 by 3.5, and it actually looks like a rainbow. So I'm going to cut out 2 little circles down here. And I'm going to cut right outside of this. I can't cut it upside down. That black line there. So I'm cutting off the 2 smallest circles. Just going to give it a quick little fancy cut there. If you have a circle punch that's that size, you can use that too. It's just not going to make that much of a difference, so I'm not going to stress about it. And then I have 6 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm also going to do that with this one. 5, 6. And I'm going to cut just outside that line. And then we're going to color it. And I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends to color it with. I like that they kind of included a rainbow pattern paper in here. For Celebration, we had that rainbow pack of paper, and it was so pretty. And that bright pack of colors, I love the bright colors. They just kind of shout spring to me. So, okay, let's bring in our colors, and I'm going to start with our purple, and I chose a Highland Heather. Oh, I got a light fresh freesia instead of a Highland Heather. So I'm just going to quickly color that. And then next is going to be blue, and I think I used Bermuda Bay for my blue. I bet you guys would be glad if I could color upside down, right? Sometimes I think I'm good just to get in the picture frame where you can see me, let alone worry about if I'm sideways or upside down. Some days it's more of a challenge than other days. But that's the biggest challenge I have. I'm all good. Oh, and I need a granny apple green, which I did not grab. Okay, so let's do a granny apple green in here. Do you guys like to color? I think coloring is very relaxing. Denise made her cards yesterday, and she said, I'm so glad there was so much coloring to do with this one. I find it very relaxing. I'm with Denise. I like to color and relax. Those two things kind of go hand in hand for me. So we'll do a yellow, and this one is a Daffodil Delight. And like I said, if you don't like coloring, you can easily grab the rainbow paper from the Celebration catalog if you got some of that and use that. That works very well for this. And then some orange, and I think I grabbed pumpkin pie. We do have so many colors. You could make this a beautiful pastel rainbow if you wanted to. You don't have to do the real bright colors. Again, it's one of those things that it's your card, so you can make it however you want. That's the beauty of this, is you can just personalize it and do it however you want. And I hope by doing different designer series papers and colors and things like that, that you can see how easy it is to swap things out. And this one is real red. And I did use the Sweetheart dies to die cut the hearts. Everybody in club got hearts, and this one had 2 sets, so it was 12 hearts per person. So I chose the Sweetheart dies because you could cut more than one at a time. Okay, so I'm just gonna flap this on here. And again, look how pretty the back of that paper is with all those great colors on it. I love that. Okay, so let's get our rainbow on here. And I'm going to put it just a tad more over this way. Our sentiment's going to go on with some dimensionals. And you can see these are all easy cards to do. I'm not a big fan of sharing with you a card that takes an hour and a half to make. Some of us don't want to spend that kind of time on our cards. We just need a little bit to relax us before we go up and get the kids to bed. We all have different needs when it comes to crafting. So this one is going to be kind of easy, especially for club. We do 2 of them in an hour, and then everybody comes back and shares theirs with us on our Facebook group page if they've done something different. So, okay, this one's going to get a double bow. So I'm just going to cut 2 pieces of twine. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do like bunny ears with them. And I guess I'm not going to do bunny ears. I'll just flip this over. Sometimes it's a little harder to do a bunny ear when you're doing a double bow. Let's get those 2 through there. There we go. Okay. So I've got that nice double bow. And I'm just going to pull it so it's a little, I'm going to put it at the bottom of my words. So I want it a little bit smaller than that. And I think that will work. So we'll just trim those ends off. And again, use a little glue dot down there. Just kind of hide my glue dot behind my knot and my bow. Put it on there. And then I have all these little hearts. So you have one heart in every color. And what I'm going to do is bring my green glue in. And I'm just going to kind of put a little dot of glue where I want to put my hearts. And then I am going to kind of lift up my heart with my little poker tool and drop it on there. Let's get a blue one over here. I'm going to put a green one there. I don't know what. There we go. Let's see if I can do it with my fingers. Here we go. And we'll put this yellow one up here. And this red one here. And the orange one here. I actually want that orange one down a little bit more in here. Here we go. Okay, I got a little bit of glue over here. There we go. And let's bring in our hexagons. I'm going to use the black ones here, I think. So I'm going to use these larger ones. I'm going to go here and then add these smaller ones in here and down here. There we go. Okay, so that's this one. And then here's the one we started with. And this one I used a little bit bigger of hearts from the Stitched Hearts, which is the Give It a Whirl die set. And then the double red ribbon instead of the black ribbon. Okay. And I used the heart paper here and the kind of star one here. All right, and this brings us to our fourth and final card. This one we used some fun things with. Okay, so here is what our sample looks like. And this is our Coastal Cabana paper. And again, 5.5 by 8.5. We score the 5.5 inch side at 4 1/4. That's our card base. And then we have a piece of Designer Series paper that is 5 by 3 3/4. I'm going to use the dotted side and just put that down flat. There's the backing to my dimensional. There's something about the backings to your dimensionals that they stay with you no matter what. When you go to bed, you're going to find them everywhere. I was doing the laundry the other day and there was one in my shirt. I was like, okay, how does this happen? All right, and we have this piece which is going to go inside our card, and it is 5 by 3/4. And I'm just going to put some Stampin' Seal on that. Make sure it's on my card the right way. There we go. And this is a piece of real red, and I've used my fancy tag topper punch on it. And then we have a real red heart from the Give It a Whirl die set. Okay, so we have this piece of basic white paper here and our stamp. And again, I'm going to color it with my blends. So I'm going to use my Memento ink on it. And I'm going to stamp it. You know what, I think I'm going to, yeah, I'll stamp it up towards my top a little bit because I want to put some words on there. And our words are going to say, love changes everything. So I'm just going to ink that up and put it down here. All right. That is a little bit crooked, but I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna grab a couple more colors here. I think I'll try these two, maybe these two. And again, you can color the nails a different color if you want. I'm just gonna give it a quick color because I know you guys don't want to sit here all night and watch me color. Although we did already decide it was relaxing to color, so I don't know, maybe you think it's relaxing to watch somebody color. I don't know. All right. And we'll put this one on the other side. I do have a little bit of an overstamp where it looks like I inked my stamp too much and then maybe rocked it a little bit. So I'm going to put that heart right there over top of it and just kind of hide it. Because there are no mistakes in stamping. You just have an opportunity to be a little more creative, right? So let's put a dimensional behind this heart. And we'll put it right there. And I am going to put this little tag topper right underneath the edge there. I think that's going to look really cute like that. But I think I'm going to tie my bow first. I'm just going to soften up my ribbon. And I'm really going to fray the ribbon after I get it tied in my bow because we haven't done that yet, and this ribbon is really cool when it's frayed up a bit. So I'm going to pull it to the size I want. Get it more dimensional on there for you. And then we'll trim it down. I still think I want it a little bit smaller. You know what, I'm going to tie it in a knot there instead of just a loop over because it's not really laying how I want it to lay. So I'm just going to knot it there instead of looping it. Okay. Now I'm going to do my bow. Do you guys all talk about bows when you're together? Every time we have a team meeting or a demo get together, we all discuss our favorite way to make bows and what's easiest for us. And everybody has a favorite way and an easier way. So it's whatever you like that is easiest for you. And I'm left-handed, so that kind of adds a little more dimension to why I like the bunny ears. Okay, so I have the bunny ears, and I'm just gonna twist this ribbon and kind of fray it. And I think that that just looks so fun and adds a little bit more kind of a shabby little dimension to it, okay? So I'm gonna bring in my card base. Let's stick a glue dot under there. It doesn't look like it's staying down very well, so I must have missed it with the adhesive. I'm just gonna throw a glue dot on there. And let's get some adhesive on our tag topper piece here. And I'm gonna put that over here. Looks like I got it going in a completely wrong direction. There we go. And then I'm gonna pop this piece up on dimensionals. Just because we can, right? And I'll pop you guys up. The other event I had that I'm coming up that I wanted to share with you is my new Catalog Kickoff. And I take 4 of my favorite products in the new catalog, and I do 1 class each with them. There's 3 cards per class. So it is a 1 to 5 on May 15th. You get a little goodie bag of products. We have door prizes and prize patrol and raffles and lots of fun snacks. It's always a really good time. And you go home with a dozen cards too. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna use, boy, I've been keeping track of my materials here pretty well, you guys. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but I haven't had to search out anything today so far. I'll go there. And maybe right there. Okay. So there's this one. And I will put a host code up for you to use with a link. You can see the difference in the papers here. So I will put a host code up for you to use, and when you order $35, you're going to get a set of tutorials. There's 15 tutorials, and this month we did moving cards. So those will be a lot of fun for you. But you have to use the hostess code in the link. And if you want to join the club, the Creativity Club, just leave me a comment and I'll get all of your details. And I'm also going to be doing an in-color club. So watch for the details for that. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Let me pop on real quick and go down and see if anybody has any questions. A heartfelt thank you. Oh, Adrienne, you are so sweet. Bows are my downfall. Upside down and lefty. Yep, I have two very distinct things I have to deal with, don't I? But I do a good job if I do say so myself. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. And hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday at noon for a Create with Chris live at lunchtime. Bye-bye.